Good morning, happy Tuesday, welcome to another weekly reading vlog. I didn't start the weekly reading vlog yesterday because the book Oplathon destroyed me thoroughly, and yesterday I stayed in bed working from bed until 11, and then I very reluctantly got changed into leggings and a very loose shirt and worked on the sofa until I forced myself to go for a walk, and then pretty much just monged about on the sofa, watched Big Hero 6 after work, cried my eyes out, ugly cried at Big Hero 6. Have you watched that film? Do you ugly cry at it? I can't deal with it, it's too much. So many things make me cry at that film. But I'm back, I'm here to start the vlog, I'm feeling way more energized. Started Tuesday on a Joe Wicks workout. Okay, traffic is making loud noises right now. Sirens, cars, shh. Anyway, yeah, I started the week with a Joe Wicks workout, well, today. I'm gonna just say today is like the new Monday. Started the week with a Joe Wicks workout. Feel energized, not knackered, which is good. I'm just gonna resync my sleep pattern and just go to bed earlier this week because I've just been waking up knackered all the time. Even though I get like a full 8 to 9 hours sleep, I just wake up feeling so tired. So I don't know if I'm getting disturbed sleep and I don't realize it. So I think I'm getting the right amount of sleep, but I'm not. I think it's because I've got too much going on. I have a lot in my brain constantly. I've said this in my last vlog, I think, that like I'm a creative thinker, which means my brain seems to constantly be coming up with ideas and generating new stuff and thinking this would work great, or you need to do this and you haven't done this yet. And it's a lot in my head constantly, so I struggle to shut off. And what I'm going to be doing, because I stopped doing this and I don't know why I stopped doing it, but last year, 2020, remember that year, I was writing everything down in a planner. I had a nice little planner from Typo and I just wrote everything down day to day that I was doing and that I needed to do for that week. So I stopped doing that when I moved because I just couldn't keep up with it because I had so much going on with the move. And I haven't resumed it since the year started. So I'm going to be getting a planner today and just making a plan of my month. That's not saying much given the month ends this week or next week. There's not long left of the month. But I'm going to make a plan of my month and basically just put everything out so that I know if I've ticked off everything, I do not have anything I need to think of for that day. And I also know that when everything is covered, because I am really good at planning and being organised, I've just not been writing it down, so it's still been in my brain, the organisation. So I'm going to do that and it's going to be great. But it's really exciting because the more my brain is busy and the more I feel like I've got a lot going on, the closer I am to making this dream my reality. That sounds so cheesy, but like for me, the absolute dream for me is to be able to do this full time. It's been something I'm working towards for a while and it's going to be a bold, big move when I do finally do it, and it's not something that's going to happen quickly, but I do have a plan in my head. I'm not going to announce that plan because it's just for me and it's more of like a financial plan, but I am so excited for when that happens, and like every growth I have, which is completely thanks to you guys. That made it sound weird. Every follower growth, engagement growth, that kind of growth is all thanks to you guys, and it just contributes to meaning that I am going to be able to one day do this as a job, which will be amazing. You might be watching this thinking, God, that's ambitious or arrogant or whatever, but like I work on goals. I just work really well with that kind of thing, with like attributions as to what I want to do. And unless something absolutely phenomenal came up and it was like my ideal position, like I've got a 5-year plan. It's happening in my head. It might be slow, but these things take time. What has this turned into? Anyway, so basically, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for 8k. I said that in the last vlog, but I can't believe how quickly I'm creeping up through 8k as well. That is just, whew. 10k has been my big goal for a while now, and I am nearing it quickly, and that's amazing. Also, thank you to anyone who follows me and is subscribed through my Patreon tiers as well, because my Patreon is hopefully what's going to be able to enable me to create some kind of stable income to be able to potentially at some point drop to part-time hours, which would be huge in how much time I would have to be able to do more of this content. So thank you so much to anyone who is following me along on my Patreon journey as well. There's various different tiers if you did want to support. They start at £2.50, so that's just a monthly fee, and it really helps. It really does, because it means I'm able to do more of what I love, and it means I'm able to invest more in my videos as well. I've got some ideas when the world reopens of some bookshop related challenges I'm going to do, which I'm really excited. I don't know why this has come into the future of my channel, but like I think it's in my head at the moment because there was a lot of talk yesterday about BookTok and earning and things like that, and I just think like this is what I love. I absolutely love it and I'm going to completely own that and keep being determined with it. So if you love something, don't let it go. That's not the saying, is it? It's like if you love it, let it go. But I love this and I'm not letting it go. Anyway, philosophical talk over. I've got some books to show you that came at the weekend. And I forgot, well, I didn't forget, I deliberately didn't haul them because it was the Bookoplathon vlog and I wanted to show them to you separately. But I'm so excited. I told you these were coming. I think I told you they were coming. Ah, they're the City of Ghosts hardback books. I am so close to the camera. So we've got City of Ghosts, then we've got Tunnel of Bones, and then we've got Bridge of Souls. And I'm so obsessed with them. I really, really love these covers. They're so cool. I love the hardbacks. I'm having a right thing for hardbacks at the moment. I think these are the US hardbacks. I don't think these are typical in the UK, but I came across these. I got these two were on Blackwell's and then this one was on Ape Books. The Tunnel of Bones was harder to find, but I think I paid £12 for these two, and well, like each, not together. I think the middle one was £16 because it was a little bit more difficult to come by, but I love them. My Victoria Schwab shelf is becoming out of control. I don't know what's going to happen when my Dark Shade of Magic arrives from Illuma Crate, my other two. Oh, she's such a good writer though, so it's okay. Reading update wise, I'm reading The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Oh my god, I'm absolutely obsessed with this. This could be top book of the year. Like, not the top book, what could be? I've not read any like truly exceptional book. Like, I've read a couple of 5 stars, but nothing has been like, what? This is on its way to being a 5-star. It follows 2 different time zones now and in the 1700s, and in the 1700s we're following a woman and a girl who are, well, the woman owns this apothecary that sells poisons to women who want to get rid of their husbands, basically. She only sells them to harm men, and then there's this little girl that's kind of helping her out and they've kind of got involved there. And basically she just wants to be able to free women who are oppressed by their husbands. We love that. Well, we don't love the killing part. No, not so much that, but I love the feminist tones here and the fact that we've got 2 really strong female characters there. And then in modern day, we've got a woman who has come to England to kind of get away from her cheating husband. We hate cheating husbands or cheating anybody. And she's found a vial that she thinks is from the Lost Apothecary, and she wants to investigate into it and look at what the hell happened and what all these unexplained murders are to do with it. So there is 2 different things going on. We've got the mystery and then we've also got what's actually happened. I'm obsessed with it. It's so, so good. It's only about 250 pages, so it's not very long. I've got this much left. I'm on a live tonight with Spoops and Tasman, so I'm hoping I can finish this on that live, maybe, and then I'm either going to be reading Norwegian Wood or House of Hollow. I'm not decided yet. So anyway, hi, welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to the vlog. It's going to be a great vlog. I am going to decamp my brain this week. Yeah, I just need to remove all the stress from my brain and put it on a page instead, and I think that will help me out. But also, I am absolutely fine, like nothing's impending on like my mental health or anything like that. It's just that there's a lot and I find it really difficult to shut down. So even when I'm sat on the sofa in the evening, and I'm really good at giving myself breaks, but even when I sit on the sofa in the evening, I'm still thinking of all these different things. So it's a me problem, but I need to sort it out. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's been here and who's going to continue to be here. I just feel so excited for my content. I've got such cool ideas for stuff coming up, and I cannot wait. So yeah, I'm gonna do life things now and catch up with you later. I lied, I'm back very briefly because I remembered I finished a book yesterday. I finished Disfigured. I can't remember the author's name because I was reading it as an audiobook. Do they all find that when you're reading an audiobook you really struggle to remember either the book's name or the author's name? Like, I remember the book's name for this one, but because I'm not physically picking it up, I'm not looking at the cover all the time. So the full title is Disfigured: On Fairy Tales, Disability and Making Space, and it's by Amanda Leduc. Leduc? L-E-D-U-C, not quite sure how to pronounce that, but I finished that last night and it was really, really interesting. It was all about how disability is represented within fairy tales and Disney films and things like that, and I've spoken about it on the vlog before, but I found it really interesting, and as someone who has scoliosis, I actually observe more now the fact that that is probably what's represented in something like the Hunchback of Notre Dame and things like that. And yeah, it's about the villains being the ones that are disabled and how disability just seems to be fixed magically with some things and then everything's better again. But anyway, it was really interesting and I finished that yesterday. And I think I'm going to try and rate my fiction at some point, but like I think it's like a 4 to 5, 4.5. I think it was done in a really interesting and compelling to keep reading kind of style, the way that each chapter laid it out, and it made references to pop culture and stuff, so it would hopefully be suitable for loads of different audiences, hopefully. So that was good. Now I am gonna go. Today on I'm Crap at Cooking and Please Be Proud of Me for Producing Ramen, we've got ramen! I made Joe Wicks's ramen and it doesn't look too bad. I've made it ridiculously early because I'm going on a live show soon. Also did not get a planner today, but I've ordered one online and it's coming tomorrow and it's a super duper one. It was, oh, what's it called? Clever Fox? Clever Fox. A little bit expensive, but hopefully it's going to be what I need to get my brain back in organisation mode. So I'm going to eat this now, really early, whilst watching The Circle, and then we're going to go on the live. Hey, it's one tired Beth here. It's still Tuesday, hence the same jumper. But I've just got off the live with Holly. It feels weird calling Holly Spoops. And Tasman was on the live, and then Tasman left, and then we had Lauren and Rachel join instead, which was really nice. I'm a little bit tired right now, a little bit. I'm very hungry. My ramen was good, but I ate that many hours ago now, and I could murder a piece of toast, but also I'm gonna go to bed. So, no toast for me. Anyway, tired, droopy update. I finished Lost Apothecary and I absolutely bloody loved it. This was so empowering. This is about women making decisions for women, making decisions for what's best for them, that may be difficult because of men, but they're just being empowered and strong and making these decisions. And I think this is such an important book because so many times women sacrifice what they want to do and their hopes and their dreams and their goals for either what society wants them to do or what men want them to do or what they want to do for men. Like, it's not always that a man is saying go and do this, go and do that, but it's like the life you want with that man prevents you doing these things. And I just loved the women in this book. I just felt so empowered by them at the end, and like the whole notion of like being bold enough to do what you want to do was just like, yes, because I like being in relationships. I've been in 2 long-term relationships and I loved being in those relationships, but I've been single for 2 years now, and I think the main thing I've noticed is that everything I do is for me. Like, it was always going to be for me and no one was ever controlling my decisions, but when you're in a relationship, you're thinking about 2 people and what is best for the relationship. And at 25, it's quite nice just to be focusing on what is good for me and having that be my main priority. So I love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So far, it sits at top of the year, I think. Then I started House of Hollow, which I'm working on an ad for. This is by Crystal Sutherland, who's the same author as Our Chemical Hearts, if you read that back in the YA Booktubey day. Well, it's still the YA Booktubey day. I'm very tired. Why am I so tired? It's like, what is it, 10:30? I need to shut my brain down soon. This is what I mean. I get too not hyper. My brain gets too active and then I find it really hard to shut down even though I'm very tired. Anyway, this is a horror book that's already creeping me out. I started this tonight and I am yay far through. Also having a little bit of an issue with some slightly loose pages here, if you're wondering what that is. Some of the front pages unfortunately haven't been glued in quite as tightly as one would hope, so they've been falling out, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's creeping me out. Hopefully we'll be finishing this tomorrow. I have my first Patreon live show tomorrow as well, so hopefully finish that tomorrow on the live or before, and then read Norwegian Wood, I think, because that is our book club pick. If you want to join in with the book club, then it is not too late. The book club runs from March to April. It's a bi-monthly book club, so it's every 2 months. We're reading Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. If you'd like to join in and get involved in discussions on the Discord, we're chatting about it over there, and I will maybe be reading it in the live stream, but you'll have already watched this by then. So anyway, if you're interested, there is a link down below to my Patreon. I feel like I've just plugged this in every video at the moment, but I'm just really excited about it because it's exciting. It makes me happy. I am deliriously tired. What is this? So anyway, I'm gonna go to bed and read probably like a page of this before conking out. This is proof that I am absolutely exhausted, whole bodily knackered. But tomorrow, I hope, well, my planner thing's arriving tomorrow, so I'm going to plan everything out, and then my brain won't need to be so occupied, so I won't need to feel so tired because I'll be able to take it out of my brain and put it on a page. Yay! So I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. I'm not drunk, by the way. I promise. I feel like people always ask me if I'm drunk when I'm tired, but actually it's just tiredness making my brain feel very loopy. I've just drunk water. I'm drunk on H2O. Hello, it's Wednesday, it is the evening, and I am just prepping for my first ever Patreon live show, which is very exciting. We're going to do a read with me style live show because I am reading House of Hollow and I want to get this finished, then I can move on to Norwegian Wood, which I am going to be annotating, which is very exciting. I have only annotated school books many years ago, many years ago, or Lord of the Rings. So I'm intrigued to see whether my brain processes that in a more studious way and therefore I read the book in a different way, or if I still read the book in like the kind of same way for enjoyment, or if I'm going to read it for analysing it, I don't know. But it's a book club pick, so hopefully I will read it to analyse it. But that is the book club pick for March to April, so that's exciting. And I'm looking forward to getting over to it. But first, yeah, I have to finish House of Hollow, and hopefully I can finish that tonight because it's quite an easy read. I think it's a horror centred around some girls that went missing and then came back a month after, and the weird things that have kind of followed them throughout their life since they've come back. It's definitely creeping me out, I can tell you that much. I would rather read it during daylight, which it is at the moment, so that's fine. But I also got some post today. First off, I got some book mail. So books came in the mail. That was a stumble version of the song. I got these two books in the mail. These are sent for me by Orbit, and I did not request these. I didn't know they were coming. So we have The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk, and this is apparently a magical regency thing. Marriage or magic, she can only choose one, and the choice is final, it says on the back. This looks quite cool. I hadn't heard of this, but the fact that it's like a regency, sexy magic thing, apparently it's like Bridgerton, but with magic, so that sounds quite cool. And also The Light of Midnight Stars by Rena Rosner. Again, hadn't heard of this one before. I've completely forgotten what the blurb is. Oh, this is a Hungarian fairy tale, it looks like, or like a retelling or something. King Solomon, a bookish character. Oh, I like that. Hannah, bookish and calm. We like Hannah. Darkness sweeps over Europe and threatens the life of every Jew. The rabbi and his family are forced to flee, but in the end, danger will reach even those who thought they could escape. Each sister will have to make an impossible choice to survive and change the fate of their family forever. Okay, what's it like under here? Oh, not as just standard, but pretty cover. I haven't heard of either of these two, but they both kind of match each other cover-wise. No, well, no, they don't actually. Why? Well, they're kind of pretty. So those are sent through by Orbit. Thank you very much, Orbit. And then I got my diary journal thing. So I went with Clever Fox, and there was multiple colour choices. On the website there was a yellow one, and then on Amazon there wasn't a yellow one, and you had to buy it from Amazon because their website isn't shipped to the UK at the moment, or in Europe I think at the moment. So I went with this, sorry my computer's making noises. So I went with this pink, deep pink colour, and oh my god, this is so floppy. I went with the A4 one because I just thought that that would really utilise the fact that I am really going to use this to get productive. My computer, every time I film, I should just put it on silent, but what I like about this is you have a full page for each day, and Saturday and Sunday are separate days. I hate it when calendars group Saturday and Sunday like they're just relaxed days, because for me those are work days, or Saturday definitely is. And then it gives you an option for a work to-do list and a personal to-do list. You can do habit tracking. There's a couple of things I didn't need on it, like a lot of the diaries I was looking at were very much like had expenses and had like goals and hopes and dreams and stuff, and like I don't need that stuff. And this one does have a little bit of like a life balance of what I'm excited about, lessons learned, how I'll improve, and I can understand why those are useful, but I just want something where I can plan everything out. So I'm going to get some kind of system. But this also comes with stickers, which I really like. So there's all different types of stickers. Oh my god, it's so loud. Okay, I could just get up and mute it, but oh well. This is such a chaotic vlog this week. There's all these different kinds of stickers. So I've already used one to say that my bill's due, and then I've used another one for like payday. Hang on. Very cute. I'm going to find you the payday one. Look. Isn't it cute? So I am a big fan of this so far. There's lots in it, like you can do monthly reviews and look at how things were. Business, health, spiritually, recreation, finance, personal development, romance, family and friends, and you can rate the months, which is nice. And then there's also like monthly spreads too. But I also like the fact that this isn't dated, so I can essentially start this whenever, which is what I've done. I mainly like the fact that it's floppy though, so I'm going to be using that to get back into my organisation. That's my updates for you this Wednesday evening. I'm going to go on the live shortly, and I will hopefully finish this book tonight if I can dedicate myself to it. I did do a lot of reading last night, so I kind of want to sit in front of the TV and chill for a little bit, but I've got this much there, so I think that should be doable. I have a new renowned faith in myself and my reading speed after the book oplathon because I read so much, so yeah. Anyway, I will catch up with you later. Hi, good morning. What is this wave I keep doing? It's like I can't actually introduce myself anymore, but hey, it's Thursday morning, which means it's nearly Friday. I've got a very, very busy day ahead of me at work. There is a big pitch thing happening and I have to prep loads of stuff to present. It's very thrilling. So I am busy at the moment, so I thought I'd give you a quick update very early this morning before I get going, because last night I finished House of Hollow. I finished this, well, just after my Patreon live show, which went really well. It was really lovely. We did some live readings, some sprints, some chats in the comments. It was really nice. This book was definitely super creepy. It definitely ticked those boxes for me. It kept me gripped. I didn't see the plot coming. It was well done to surprise me. Overall though, I didn't completely feel obsessed with it, so it did just get a 3 stars from me. What's new? But I did like it, it didn't blow my mind to enter into the 4-star realm. As I said, I am working on an ad for this book that will be out maybe at the weekend by the time you're watching this, or the week after. I'm part of the tour for it. And yeah, I think that's all there is to say on this one. But because I finished this one, I could move on to this one. This is Haruki Murakami's Norwegian Wood. This is our Patreon book club pick for March and April, and I have had this on my shelves for a year. I want to read more translated fiction because I'm slowly crafting a master list, and this was one that came to mind and was recommended. I've had it for a year and haven't picked it up yet. So this seemed like a perfect opportunity. I presented it to my book club, they picked it, and I am 61 pages in so far. I have decided I am going to politely destroy this book. I say politely destroy because I'm not like deliberately wrecking it or anything, but I am annotating it, and brace yourself, I'm folding over the pages on certain bits because I actually think I might prefer doing that to tabbing because I just hate the way the tabs look. So this copy is basically just going to get all my thoughts and feelings as we progress through the book club so I can have things to discuss. I am enjoying it so far, although I will say something. I'm going to own up to this because I feel like I'm a bit of an idiot. I thought this might have a slight element of fantasy to it, or like a little bit of magic inserted into it, just a little bit, because the blurb says when he hears her favourite Beatles song, Toru Watanabe recalls his first love, Naoko, I'm really sorry, my pronunciation's probably off, the girlfriend of his best friend. Immediately he is transported back almost 20 years to his student days in Tokyo. I thought he was actually transported back. I thought this was going to be him going back in time somehow. It's not, it's memories. I should have probably read it in that way, but I kind of just thought that that would be a slight twist of magic to this book. So I've been reading it thinking, when's he going to travel back in time? And it's just memories. It's just memories. But I have to share this with you because I was very excited when I saw this. So I had a Kindle case for my old Kindle, and I got the Kindle case when I got the Kindle, so like 2010, 2011. It had a quote printed on the inside of it that said, if you only read the books everyone else is reading, you'll only think the things everyone else is thinking. And I couldn't remember who quoted that, even though I looked at it every time I opened the page. It just wasn't at the top of my head recently. If I thought about it, it probably would have clicked. But I came across that line in this book and just got so excited because it's from this book. I'm actually reading the book the quote was from, and I just kind of had a little mini fangirling moment. I also highlighted another line here that I really enjoyed about books. There's a whole conversation going on about books for like 2 pages, which I love. With my eyes closed, I would touch a familiar book and draw its fragrance deep inside me. This was enough to make me happy. I love that. So that is why I'm folding over pages, but yeah, I can see that it's going to be a slower read because it's much more lyrical and I am reading it to analyse it. So I'm not going to zoom through this one, but I think it took me about an hour to get to page 61, and no, more than that, I think it was about an hour and 20 minutes, but I didn't feel too well last night. I think everything's just kind of a lot at the moment, so I'm giving my body a break because I'm doing so many workouts at the moment as well that I think my body is pooped out. So I actually went to bed, well, not went to bed, I sat in bed at 8:30 until 10:30 reading, which was really nice. So that's how I finished House of Hollow and then started this one. And then feel like I slept maybe okay. I don't know, I had a lot. Again, I keep waking up thinking about things in the middle of the night. So that's my reading updates. I am going home this weekend. I'm going to go home tomorrow night after work to my bubble because I've not stayed over for a while, and honestly I just think it'll be a nice break for me. And then next weekend is Easter, so we get the long weekend in England, which is nice. So those are my updates. I'm going to get to work and I'll catch up with you later. Hey, so I have to talk about this. I'm just reading on my lunch break really quickly because work is insanely busy today and I had to force myself to take a lunch break. But I have been thinking several thoughts throughout this book. I'm on page 82 now. And there's a lot of stuff that suggests this really ignorant, sexist way of thinking. And I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that that could just be the way that the author wants us to perceive this character, or it could be the way the author perceives society. And I don't know which it is because I've not read anything else by Haruki Murakami. I want to think it's the way that he wants us to perceive this character. He's a young guy at university. He's not very world wise. He's not really had much interaction with women before, and there's no awkwardness around him, and I'm hoping that that is why he is being portrayed this way. And I don't think there's an issue with authors portraying characters like that if that is a fault of the character and we as the audience and the reader are meant to know that as a flaw of the character. However, a big part of me is worried that this is the author's views and the author's defaults, and I don't like that, and I really hope that's not the case. But the line we've just had, so the girl in question is speaking to our main character, who is a guy, and he is basically, she wants to see his halls at university, and he said that she won't want to go there because it's just a few hundred guys in grubby rooms drinking and wanking, and she asks if that includes him, and he says it includes every man on the face of the earth. Girls have periods and boys wank. Everybody. First off, not everybody. Like, some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. Second off, the definition of the fact that girls have periods and boys wank, the fact that boys are the only people to wank and like girls are defined by their period almost within this line, pisses me off, because girls can wank, they aren't defined by the fact that they have periods. That does not make someone a girl to have a period. That is just something that happens. It's a biological thing. It cannot be helped also. And it just annoys me, the dismissal of the fact that the boys are the people having the wanks and the boys are the sexual minded beings, and yet the girls are just there to have periods so eventually they can get pregnant and reproduce. It frustrates me so much. Like, this is a really interesting read and I'm making a lot of notes and I feel like I'm really reading it with intrigue, but there is a lot in here that I keep thinking about, the differences that they present between girls and guys. There's a lot of unnamed girls in here. There's a lot of talk of just sleeping around with loads of women because they want that fix and because they just need that, the guys just need that, and there isn't any notion of what the women need. And yet there's a scene where a guy sleeps with a girl and then he leaves before she wakes up, and he leaves her a note and says, like, get in touch with me when you've calmed down, which I hate it when women are told to calm down. I hate that anyway. But the fact that he's done that, so he's chosen to leave the situation without her choosing to have him leave. And then later on, he says to the same girl that he needs her and he doesn't really care what she wants, she should be there for him. And I'm like, but you left when she didn't want you to, so why should you expect her to be there for you if she doesn't want to be? Like, it's like double standards. Again, I'm happy to allow this to be a flaw of the character that I can pick apart and analyse, but if this is a flaw of the author, that is really disappointing. But I know that Haruki Murakami is a really highly regarded author, and as I said, this is the first book I've read by him. I do have another one. What do I have? Kafka on the Shore. So I will read that one at some point as well and see whether this kind of writing also seeps into that. But at the moment, I am really irritated by the representation of women, and but saying that, I do understand that what he's reflecting here is a young guy in the 60s and 70s. He's in his very early 20s. He's at university. He's finding himself. He's discovering sex and pleasure and enjoyment. And is that what what the author wants us to see of this guy? Because stereotypically at that point, it's like a finding yourself and shagging everything that moves in like a really stereotypical sense. I'm not saying that's what actually happens, but I feel like that could be what's perceived before you go to university that that's what it is. So I don't know if that's just what we're getting, if we're getting the stereotypical uni guy. But I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I've just got a lot of thoughts, so I thought I'd give them to you now on my lunch break. I am editing my vlog and have just watched up to where I talk about Haruki Murakami, and I've been chatting with people on Twitter and I've been looking at forums, and apparently a lot of his books involve sexist tones. And I think, as I said in the last clip, if it was a characterization and it was meant to be a flaw that we were meant to notice, then whilst I don't like that character, I can still understand that that's the way the author's written that character. Whereas I think it could be that his writing is really sexist, which is a really big shame. I think I would read one more book by him to decide, but he's such a well-renowned author. Like, I've heard so many people sing his praises, and I've never heard this before. I've never heard anyone say this before. Now I can't unsee it. So that's great. But I've been chatting with people on Twitter, and there's a lot of people agreeing and a lot of people saying they really do like his writing anyway, though, and can see through this. And I can understand that completely. Like, I don't think he's someone I wouldn't read from. I think he was someone I would read from to analyse the shit he is reflecting of women. But also, I think the fact that this book very much is just accounting for men and women, and that is it. There is nothing to do with the fact that there might be anyone who is trans or non-binary. And I think that the book, when was it written? Hang on, because it's set in the 60s and the 70s. 1987. Oh, okay. For some reason, I didn't expect it to be, not that that's old, but I didn't expect it to be then. So I think if this book was written now, it would be interesting to see whether it was more diverse and more inclusive and wasn't just referring to this strict code of this is how men feel, this is how women feel, without the account there are actually people that don't fit into either of those two brackets. There's a lot in this book to unpick, but I'm at page 110, so I didn't read too much more earlier from when I last spoke to you, but that's where that sits me here. I'm gonna use my nose. I'm gonna read a little bit more tonight. I'm currently deciding what to make for dinner, which there's not much choice. I think I said in the vlog I was going to go home tonight, but I'm actually going to go home tomorrow night, so I don't have to bring my work computer with me because I've got several things happening tomorrow at work. So yeah, I'm gonna read more, eat, and actually watch something on TV, because I didn't do that yesterday. I just got into bed and read in bed. Hey, it's Friday morning. I'm feeling productive. I started watching The Bold Type last night, which is kind of, someone's described it as Ugly Betty, but more empowering and more feministy. And I think that's totally it. It's totally empowering. It's about 3 young women who work at a magazine, and the magazine is very much promoting health, beauty, sex, but like in a really positive and uplifting way. And the boss is like such a nice boss rather than like a scary controlling boss like is stereotypical in these kind of shows. One of the girls is a social media manager, which makes me always feel more motivated to do better at my own job, and I am really enjoying it. So I have been watching, I watched one episode of that last night, which is very exciting, and now I really want to watch more. But it's Friday morning, I am working from the sofa today, so I will probably put some stuff on in the background whilst I work, but I like my Fridays working from the sofa. It makes me feel like I've rewarded myself for the end of the week. I may have started this week working on the sofa, but we'll just ignore that. Still reading Norwegian Wood. I'm halfway through-ish, kind of, maybe, not really. I have broken the spine. Are you ready? Oh. I said I was going to politely ruin this book, so I've been like folding over pages, I've been writing in it because I knew I wanted to essentially intellectually deface the book. I just wanted to put my thoughts and feelings down on the page and just rough it up a little bit. So I am still finding this book really, really frustrating in the depiction of women, and also the references to women, and just the narrow-mindedness of this book, and the stereotypical nature of this divide between men and women have to be like this and men have to be like that, and no account for anyone that may not fit into those two boxes, but also no account for the fact that girls do not have to be girly and pretty and feminine. And like, at one point one of the women in this says, I bet you thought I wasn't a good cook because of the way I looked, and he was like, well yeah, I did a bit. And I'm like ah. So once I finish reading this, I don't really know what I'm gonna read, so my thoughts so far, hang on, let me grab them off the shelves. Okay, these are very different books from each other. I really want to get to A Little Life at some point, and this month I have already read, I think 16 books maybe, and I don't want to finish many more books before the end of the month, because when I did my 20 book wrap up in January, I actually really found that wrap up quite difficult to film for some reason, and I just don't want to read that many books again in 1 month because it was almost too many books. So this one would certainly slow me down if I did finish Norwegian Wood over the weekend, which I think I probably will. This is chonky. I know that a lot of people have said this is a very emotional book. I know that everyone that read this book has said it was emotional. I've not heard anyone dislike it. I mean, it's heavy. It is over 700 pages, and I'm going to annotate this, and I'm also going to politely deface this. So this is going to have a broken spine and things, because as much as I do enjoy it being all neat and tidy at the moment, I just think this is going to be one I want to write all over. So I'm kind of feeling that, although I don't know if that's going to be too much literary fiction in one go, because I think that one is literary. And then I've also got With Award, which is the one I hauled last week in my weekly reading vlog, and this is about like 2 different versions of London and a changeling. And I've heard really good things about this, and this is shorter at coming out just over 500 pages. I'm kind of tempted by this one because I think this will take me maybe a couple of weeks to read, because I don't want to rush it too much. And I don't need to, like, I just don't want to finish another book before the end of the month, basically. I'm happy to then go and finish more within April. I don't know, I'm just going to throw all reading inhibitions away. It doesn't really matter, does it? I'm reading because I enjoy it, not to get a certain amount of books read. I have to remind myself that sometimes. But these 2 current choices, also the 2 that I hauled this week from the publishers. Just looking at my shelves to see what else. Yeah, maybe The Midnight Bargain that I hauled from the publishers from Orbit. I don't know, but those are my current choices, so I'll leave them there to remind myself that those are my choices. Going home tonight, which should be nice, and then the clocks go forward, is it? I always get confused on Sunday. So that means that it will be brighter for longer, which is really nice. I think the sun sets at like 7:30 on Sunday evening, which is going to be great. Well, it's really rainy today, which is annoying, because either in my lunch break I needed to do one of 2 things that were allowed it not being rainy. I needed to either go for a walk to get my exercise ring closed, because I have had a break from a workout today, because if you're doing workouts lots, it's also important to have breaks so you don't overpower your body. I'm doing Joe Wick's workouts, for anyone that's wondering. I'm doing the 90-day shred stuff with him. And if I wasn't going to go for a walk, I was going to take Instagram photos, but it's pretty dark, which is not good. But there's a challenge that I'm going to do on my Instagram very soon. There's going to be a video content as well. So I'm looking forward to sorting that out, because that could go well or it could go not well, but that's going to happen soon too. So subscribe to see more of that content. And yeah, I'm going to just crack on with stuff now. That's my reading updates. Norwegian Wood. Sexist book. I feel really bad saying it because he's such a highly regarded author, but like, why are more people? Why is this not being said by more people? I've never heard this said about him before, and I have seen him mentioned a lot. I've never heard this. I probably wouldn't have picked up his books if I'd have known this, but at the same time, this is making a really interesting book for our discussion. Like, our Patreon book club runs from March to April, so people are kind of starting to read the book around now, and the discussions in the Discord chat are so interesting because this book really opens the field for discussions. I think it was a good pick for the book club because there's a lot to talk about, and I like that a lot about it. So if you did want to join in those discussions, it's certainly not too late. Like, we're literally just getting started with them, but there's a link down below if you wanted to join the book club. And then next month in April we'll pick the book for May and June, which is, I don't know what that's going to be. I've got no idea, but I'm going to try and pick books that hopefully we can have a good discussion about. So yeah. It's Saturday and my thoughts on this book are progressing. Oh god. So I have really enjoyed, for the past 30 pages of this book, commentary on the length of the woman's skirt. What do you expect coming into a men's dorm in a short skirt? Of course they're going to stare. Okay. Maybe it's just one-time thing. Maybe it's just a slip-up. I don't know. It's not like mere 12 pages later. Well, what do you expect wearing a skirt like that? In response to when the character asks why all the guys are looking at her. And then merely 2 pages later, she's in a hospital and a doctor says, "Whoa, that's some short skirt you're wearing." And she goes, "Nice, huh?" And he says, "What do you do on a stairway?" And she says, "Nothing special. I let it all hang out." To which he responds, "Incredible. You ought to come and let us open up your head one of these days to see what's going on in there. Do me a favour and use the lifts while you're in the hospital. I can't afford any more patients. I'm too busy as it is." The only saving grace, the only saving grace is that last section. In the middle of all of that, there's a description of the nurse chuckling behind the door. The fact that the nurse chuckles behind the door half makes me think that this is like the women are in on it, and the women are saying, like, "We know why you're all looking at us, and we think you're idiots for thinking that that's okay." But that could be a stretch. It really could be. I am having such an interesting debate about this book. I am loving the debates. I'm not loving the book, but I'm loving the debates, and I'm loving what's stirring from this. Now, I would say that I know there are massive fans of this book, and I know that there are people that are like firm fans of Haruki Murakami's writing. So I don't want to say that I'm slandering this book, and I don't want to say that you shouldn't read this book. What I want to say here is this whole vlog has been my thoughts and feelings and discussion of how this book personally is making me feel in its relation to how it's presenting sexism. I acknowledge that this could be the author deliberately putting this in the book, but by the amount of you guys telling me that this is also in his other books too, I'm not so sure. Somebody has said that a couple of his books have female protagonists and they are strong women, and the men are actually quite flat characters in those books. So I'd be interested to see that. I really, really don't want the outcome of this vlog for you guys to think, well, I'm never going to pick up any of his books, because I'm very much a firm believer in we pick books and make our own minds up on those books depending on how we read them. We're all going to read books differently. Obviously, there are going to be books that are just extremely problematic and just, I don't know how those books got published, but this is a book that is older. It's about 40 years old now, which I know isn't that old, but the way that we're seeing writing now is so much more inclusive, which is fantastic. So I acknowledge when I'm reading this book that whilst it was still written in a time of strong feminism and strong power for women, now the way that we see that reflected in our literature feels very different to me. Again, I'm not saying that it wasn't reflected in literature at that time, because of course it was. Not every single book was sexist at all, that is not what I mean. But I'm going to acknowledge this book was not written in the last 5, 10, 15 years. It's not had the 21st century influence on it. It's not had the way that social media creates a buzz around a conversation and makes everyone aware when something is not okay. It hasn't had those influences. So this book is going to be different from something you would read that was published last year. But it's very interesting. It's a critical vlog of this book in a very thought-provoking way, I hope. I hope this isn't making you think I'm never ever going to read this author's work, because I totally think you should form your own opinions. And also on the topic of this, I think this is when I come into the idea of what's problematic. Like for me, a problematic character is when we, the reader, don't necessarily immediately have all the information to decide they're a problematic character. Like if you look at someone like Sauron from Lord of the Rings, a big bad guy, like the biggest bad guy, we know he is a bad guy. He is not a problematic character, despite the fact that he wants to kill everyone that doesn't fit in with his plan. Like he's the bad guy, we know that about him. A problematic character, for me, or a problematic book, is when it's not painted as a bad thing and it's just part of the story or part of the characters, like the sexism in this book. I gave him a chance to show that this is a plot device and a character device to highlight that sexism is not okay, but it's not doing that, which makes me think it's problematic in that way. I have many thoughts and feelings, but yeah, it's it is definitely one to get me thinking. But anyway, so I'm back home this weekend, as I said. It is 11:16 in the morning on Saturday, and I'm pretty much just going to read and do a little bit of Books Nesty work and maybe play some Switch with Ava and do a walk at some point. It's going to be fun. I am just editing, and I wanted to quickly drop in to add this in because someone has said this to me on Instagram and I think it's a really good point. This is a translated fiction from Japanese, which means that it's not just Haruki Murakami's writing here, it's also the translator's writing. Now, there is no way of me knowing how much of Haruki Murakami's writing is aligned with the way this translation has come through. I mean, obviously translators do an amazing job of making art come through without having the original language, which I think is really impressive. I have a huge amount of respect for translators. But I suppose actually I do need to consider that as well, that obviously the translator has had a part in the way that we're receiving the story here. So I don't know how that changes my views with it, but I'm just adding that in because I think it's something to be aware of. Hey, it's me, it's Saturday evening, and I'm wrapping up the vlog. It has been a really good week, really productive reading week, really knackering week from the Bookopolython, like kicking it off on Monday, post Bookopolython, feeling rather drained. I got my energy back. I finished 2 books? 3? 2? 3? 2? I can't remember how many books I finished. I finished The Lost Apothecary, House of Hollow. Did I finish Disfigured in this vlog? Maybe that was last week's vlog. I don't know. I think that might have been this week's vlog. And then obviously Norwegian Wood I am very nearly finished with. I'm in the last 100 pages. Thank God for that, because I need it to be over. Yeah, I'm not going to give you any more of my views on that book because I think you know by now my opinions and thoughts and feelings on that book. So I cannot wait to finish it. I think it's going to come out as like a 2 or 3 star. I definitely will be finishing it either tonight or tomorrow morning. It's just kind of lost all intrigue for me, but the book I'll be reading next is something over here. Here, this. It will be Witherward by Hannah Matthewson. I bought this one with me. I said I was deciding between this one and A Little Life, so hopefully I can start this tomorrow. I've also ordered myself a new Switch game. I've ordered myself Pokemon Shield or Sword, the blue one, for my Switch. I have not had a new Switch game for a while, and I was going to get Monster Hunter Rise, and I will get that one, but Ava was looking at Pokemon with me and she really wanted to play it with me, so I ordered that one so I can collect that tomorrow in store and we can play tomorrow, which will be nice because yeah, she seemed excited by that one, and I just thought something really cozy and familiar and nostalgic about playing a Pokemon game, and it's just nice and easy, and sometimes that's what you want. So I need to give myself more time to have that kind of time, to have that downtime, because a lot of what I do is either work, Books Nest, or reading, and I love like the reading part obviously and I love the Books Nest part. I don't dislike the work part, like, you know, it's work. So those are my kind of 3 main things, or exercising, and I think I need to give myself other opportunities for downtime because my brain is in books a lot. So this hopefully will be quite a nice balance, so that I get to go and pick up tomorrow, and that'll be really nice. It's just nice being at home, it's nice relaxing. It's all good. So that's my wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed my views on Norwegian Wood. If you want to get involved in the discussion for Norwegian Wood, as I said, it's the Patreon club, book club, ending in the end of April. Then we'll be picking another book. There is lots of discussion. It's a very interesting discussion. I'm really enjoying talking through this book and picking out every single flaw of it. It's fascinating me. So it's a really good book to have picked because we can't stop talking about it. There's definitely a lot to be said. So I will leave a link down below in the description to my Patreon if you would like to join. There's also various different other packages within my Patreon. There's just like a really simple behind the scenes package if you would like to sign up to that one as well. That's available. There's loads of different stuff available. I'm always so thankful because it means that I'm able to be one step closer to living the dream, which is insanely exciting. So thank you so much to anyone that's able to support me on my Patreon. It's very, very much appreciated. But you can also support me by liking this video, that really helps, commenting down below, and also subscribing if you want to see any more videos from me in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive.